2021 actually gives us a lot to look forward to, including Netflix's new film, Pieces of a Woman. I'm Darius Delsoin.
And I'm Joe Acierno. Welcome to Cinema Unchained.
Welcome back yet again to Cinema Unchained. In this episode, we'll be going over pretty much our anticipated 2021 movies and shows. So, Joe, what are you most looking forward to in 2021?
Well, believe it or not, it's kind of a hard list to make because I don't know if you've noticed, 2021 has kind of become the dumping ground for everything that was supposed to come out in 2020. Thank you so much,
Oh, yeah.
COVID-19. But I'm looking forward to this year for a few reasons with regards
Hmm.
to movies and TV shows. One of them is actually Loki. I'm actually really looking
Really?
forward to that. If for those of you, I can't imagine someone not being too familiar with it at the moment, but
No,
for
yeah.
those of you who somehow don't know, it basically just looks like it's going to follow the adventures or possibly even misadventures of the Thor anti-hero. Is it safe to call him
Yeah.
a villain or an anti-hero? I would say anti-hero. That makes a lot more
Probably
sense.
villain for now because how they're approaching the Loki series is that, and it's directly after the first Avengers. It's that Loki, so he's still a villain. So
Yeah. Yeah, so it should be interesting to see exactly what directions they take the character in. Because again, I have like a very vague idea as far as like some what they might do with him, but
yeah,
like I can't say I have no idea whatsoever what's gonna happen. Like he's gonna get into some adventures here and there. Like that's that's basically the idea that I
exactly.
have so far. But I always loved Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I think just the character, as well as his portrayal of the character, is always entertaining to watch,
Yeah.
especially in all the Thor movies. I feel like he's basically the best part about them. I
Oh
think he's
yeah,
a
for
great
sure.
villain. Even then, like just the times where he is on the good side, it's interesting to see exactly how the role he ends up playing. So I'm looking forward to that. And another thing that shocked me in the trailer was Owen Wilson. I never
Yeah.
thought that I would see him in anything having to do with Marvel. Like I saw him on the screen, I'm like, wow, like that was a terrible Owen Wilson impression. But I want to see exactly what directions they go in with this one. I think it's supposed to come out in May of this year, right? It's just going straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's going to be going to stream Disney Plus around May because right now January to February is going to be WandaVision. Then pretty much right after that is going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier, then Loki, then I think Hawkeye and Ms. Marvel. Almost back to back. So it's like a good year on Disney Plus of exclusive Marvel shows. So
Yeah. All right. What about you? What's another one about you?
one
Number five.
of my most anticipated shows is actually WandaVision because I just, and after seeing, hearing about the reactions already from people in press who's already seen like the first three episodes, it's embodying almost everything I thought it would be, which is going to be this weird, quirky, sitcom esque of a show because that's basically what they're going for. But the reason one of the main reasons why I'm excited for WandaVision is the fact that one of her origins in the comics is that she's actually sort of a daughter of a witch, and that's actually one of her reasons as to why she has the powers that she has. And so, seeing that they're really doubling down on maybe the mystical and magical sides of WandaVision has me really excited and has me a bit more closer to the Scarlet Witch that I know from the comics and that I like, as well as how she's going to be playing into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie.
Yeah, because it's funny that you mentioned WandaVision now because WandaVision is actually the next one that I wanted to talk about when it was my turn. And one of the things that I love about this is that I have no idea what direction this is going to go in. Like I said with Loki, I
Yeah,
have a very vague idea as what's going to happen. With this one, I have no idea what's going to happen. So basically, and again, for people again that aren't as familiar, it basically follows Scarlet Witch and Vision, who seem to just live their lives together as like an odd couple or really odd sort of suburban couple, and just like all the shenanigans that they get into, I guess. But like there's even just in the trailer alone, there's a very trippy feel that it gave, and I have an odd feeling that that's going to translate into the show. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany had great chemistry in the Marvel films, and I want to see exactly what they do when it comes to them having their own show. So
Hmm.
I'm very much looking forward to that one too. January 15th, and I think that's going to
Yeah.
be another one where, like the Mandalorian, each episode comes out like week after week. It's not like just you can just straight binge them like with Stranger Things.
Yeah, which honestly I think that's helping Disney Plus in the long run, doing episodes week after week, because it's like, the second you like compared to Netflix, where it's like, yeah, you can subscribe for a month to watch it and then unsubscribe. Or with Disney Plus, it's like you kind of need to keep that subscription to keep up to date. So I mean, like Disney Plus, they're getting more members by the day, by the month, by the quarter. So it's gonna be interesting to see everything from here on out, especially now that it's pretty much confirmed that almost every single Marvel show on Disney Plus this year it's almost gonna be back to back. So it's kind of
Mm.
like you might as well get that yearly membership.
Yeah, so no, that's gonna be fun. It also looks very exciting, and
Yeah,
yeah, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna be like the other MCU content that we've gotten before. So
yeah,
again,
it
I'm
doesn't.
very intrigued to see like what directions that they're going to take this in. That, like I said, I honestly can't predict to save my life.
Hmm.
What else you got? What else is on your mind?
Another show, and again, this is actually the second Marvel show that I'm heavily interested in, and that's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love Bucky and Sam Wilson's, dynamic, that bromance in the movies, and I love that they're doubling down on that as well. I like his new suit. I like that this is Falcon not as Captain America, as we all thought as that would have been after Endgame. No, this is him trying to become the next Captain America, become his own Captain America in a sense. So I like that they're not jumping the gun immediately. Of like, oh yeah, he's Captain America and Falcon Winter Soldier, but then at the same time, it's like, oh, his name is Falcon. No, we're gonna see that journey, see that progression, and the fact that we have Zemo coming back again as another antagonist, that's also great to see. Like they're really almost bringing in the full circle of like a lot of the MCU shows and movies that we know villains coming back and everything like that. So that's the show I'm heavily interested in. It looks bigger than I thought it would,
Mm,
straight from some of the trailers. Like you see some of the scenes with him flying. I'm like, dude, that looks like a shot from like uh
that looks like a movie. It looks like a
yeah, it looks
movie.
like a movie and it looks incredible. So I'm excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier as well.
All right, good. Let's see. Next one on my list is Candyman, the sort of spiritual sequel from like the horror movie from the '90s, and this is another one that got delayed from COVID-19 multiple times.
Hmm.
And I remember the original movie. A lot of people, or when I say a lot of people, I mean two. All two people were telling me to watch that one, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Kind of dragged my feet for it. I was sitting down in the basement one night, and I just happened to thumb through and see it on Netflix. I'm like, all right, let me give this one a shot, and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Then then the trailer for this new movie comes out, and it looks fairly intense. It looks really, really well done. From what I understand, Jordan Peele, who's really become like some sort of horror mastermind between Get Out and Us. He's heavily involved creatively. He's even though he's not the director, I believe he's one of the producers. He helped
Yeah,
write the
he's a
script.
producer. Yeah.
And there's a. I got the feeling that this movie is going to be absolutely terrifying because again, like just given the concept. Whereas in the '90s movie, like okay, you're used to certain things. You're I guess you're not as likely to get scared by something that's a bit on the older side. Not that Candyman wasn't scary at all. It definitely had a
Yeah.
very scary feeling to it. But again, when you take that concept, again, this um, murderous entity with a hook for his hand, and like this young artist who ends up becoming enamored with that concept, and give it all of the basically the modern treatment, I think you're going to have something that really stands out. I think there's going to be one of those sequels that comes out decades after the original one because of course there's always a little bit of skepticism around those, but I think this one actually has potential. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Also, the leading man, Yahya Abdul Mateen, the second, he was great in the trial of Chicago 7, so I think he's very promising as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Like I'm curious and intrigued mainly because I know Jordan Peele just has such a great track record right now of horror and like psychological thriller and everything. So I'm looking forward to Candyman because I know he's attached to it in some capacity. And I'm just interested. It looks interesting. It wasn't a film that I was necessarily like, oh, I have to see it, but it's definitely piques my interest to the point where it's like, okay, when I get around to it, I definitely want to see it. One of the other movies that I'm looking forward to, and this is sort of a almost rehash of a film that came out years ago, and I know a lot of people are on the fence or either they don't know just yet, and that's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Reason why
Okay.
I'm excited is mainly because the Justice League, there was so much drama behind the scenes on that film and what was cut and rearranged and everything like that, that at the end of the day, if his version is bad, it's bad. But I want to see his version. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like that's important to me because it's like he poured, if people don't know, he lost his daughter due to suicide years ago, and so he
Mm.
had to step away. Joss Whedon came in. It was a whole mess. So I'm excited for it because of one, it's supposed to be longer, it's supposed to have more content. I'm not saying it's gonna be good. We don't know yet, but I'm
You
still
just want to see
excited.
what they have though.
Yeah, I want to see what he had and how different it actually is compared to the theatrical release. So
Isn't the Snyder Cut supposed to be like 4 hours long or something like that? Did I hear that correctly?
it's
Like three
supposed to
and
be
4 hours long.
about 4 hours long, and they're either releasing it into episodic content, so either like an hour each, or you have the choice to see it as a full 4 hour movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm so excited. I'll probably do the 4 hour movie option if that does become an option.
I mean, yeah, you did like the 22 Marvel movie marathon, so I think this will be small
Oh yeah.
peanuts compared to what you've been through,
Oh
what
yeah.
you put yourself through.
This will be a
Believe it or
piece
not,
of
I've
cake.
never seen. I've actually never seen the Justice League. I haven't seen a lot of the
Good.
DC. Yeah, no, and that's what I hear. Because here's the thing. Uh, I feel like it's stuff that like you quote unquote like must see, right? Because it's just like so popular. But everyone always says like, "Oh man, this is so bad." I'm thinking to myself like, "Then why are you telling me to watch it? What's the point? What am I actually going to get out of it?" I mean, again, I could go in and make my own opinions, absolutely, but like it just never caught my attention like the way like
Yeah.
the MCU does. And again, like if there are people out there that enjoy it, then like good on them.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure.
I just never, it was never a priority of mine.
Yeah, like
So
for me specifically, I DC's what got me into comics. Watching the animated series got me into comics. So Justice League, the animated series, all that type of stuff. I have a really strong connection to it. So seeing
mhm.
one of my favorite superhero teams on the big screen done the way they did kind of upsetted me. So I was like, oh man, it's like at this point I'm like, yo, Snyder's version is horrible, whatever. I want to see his vision. He's such a creative person that I really admire and such a genuine down to earth dude that I'm like, I just want to see his version at this point. So hashtag
It's always
Snyderverse,
interesting to
let's
see.
go.
It's always interesting. It's always interesting to see how different directors go about approaching different, similar material. And again, I think a
Yeah.
great case in point of that is the Star Wars, the new trilogy. When it's basically J.J. Abrams versus Ryan Johnson, and just like the different directions they took that in, and the consequences that ended up having
Oh yeah.
on the trilogy. But I think that's a conversation for another day. Moving forward, A Quiet Place Part Two. Oh man,
Oh, okay.
oh man, I cannot wait. Loved the first movie. And I think Quiet Place Part 2 might have been like the very first movie that got postponed
Yeah,
indefinitely
one of
due
the
to
very
COVID
first.
19. Like that was basically the shot heard around the world when it came to postponing everything thanks to COVID. And again, basically it follows the Abbott family moving forward after the first movie when they have to learn to live with, or basically confront other humans in the world that's occupied by aliens and monsters that are blind but hunt by sound.
Yeah.
So I loved the first movie, absolutely adored the first movie. Terrific cast. John Krasinski really, uh, he took up the mantle, he took charge, and he had such like a big hand in doing everything. He was the director, he was one of the producers, I think he was one of the writers, and he also starred in the film as well. So
Yeah.
the fact that he took on that many roles and knocked it out of the park the way he did really says something. And again, he's going to be heavily involved in this movie too, and the sequel too, much to the, I think, almost to the same extent. And again, one of the things that I love about the first movie that I'm expecting the second movie to be able to handle is the fact that it accomplished so much in so little time. Just like on the emotional impact, all the, like the character relationships and dynamics. Nothing ever felt like undercooked, especially since the first film was only an hour and a half long. And my expectations are very high for this one. I'm really
Yeah,
looking
same
for.
here.
All right, so yeah, Quiet Place Part Two. I think when the hell is it supposed to come out? April 23rd of this year.
Oh
So mark my
man,
calendar.
my birthday month is a good month. Let's go.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
as
excited.
opposed to my month, January, which is bullshit for
Oof.
movies by and large. But
Oh man. But yeah, so like yeah, Quiet Place Part 2 definitely intrigues me. It's not, one that I'm going to probably rush to see. Again, I think considering where we are still with the whole pandemic, I'm probably not going to see. Actually, no, there's going to be quite a few I do want to see in theaters for sure, at least want to try and see. And one of those that comes out on April 16th. And if people don't know, I'll tell you right now, that is my birthday, and that is Mortal Kombat. And I am
oh, okay.
thoroughly excited for Mortal. It's been years since we had a Mortal Kombat movie, and I'm hoping that this is good. I am worried mainly because there's a lot of fresh new faces attached to this, and from what I've done, and it depends. I mean, I am excited to see what they bring to the table, but also some of the casting choices also has me worried. Like one of the actors that played Jax is the guy from Supergirl who I didn't really see. And I'm not saying he's a bad actor, it's just that I just didn't see it. And then over time, when I saw behind the scenes, I'm like, okay, maybe. But I am excited mainly because the director and producer have been very active about the movie and their intentions and how they're like, oh, we want to stay true to what Mortal Kombat makes Mortal Kombat, and that's the gore, that's the lore, that's all that type of stuff. So I am thoroughly excited for this movie because of seeing. I mean, the actor I've been wanting to be Scorpion is finally Scorpion. So it's like, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things going into seeing this film. So I'm really, really excited, and I'm a huge fighting game fan. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. So I'm hoping that they do this justice because
When do you think
we
they're
all
gonna
know
come
what
out?
happened in the last Mortal Kombat film. We don't talk about it.
All right. I mean, like I never saw like the original Mortal Kombat movie. I have heard nothing good
Like,
about it,
is
and
is
I'm
that
gonna be
type
honest. I
of
never.
thing where it's like that weird? You like it, but you hate. It's like you love it, but you hate it too. It's that sort of movie.
Yeah,
It's like
it's so
that
bad. It's
Sharknado.
yeah, like so bad it's good. Like The Room.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. When do you think they're gonna come out with the? Because you said you love fighting games. When do you think they're gonna come out with the Super Smash Bros. Movie? Do you think that's ever gonna happen?
a Super Smash Bros. Movie. Honestly, that can actually happen, and I want it to happen. I mean, we're getting a Super
Oh, I know
Mario.
that was extremely sarcastic
No,
on my part.
no, but here's the thing why I think it is possible. We're getting a Super Mario 3D animated movie.
Fair, okay.
If they do that, they just open a lot of doors to other Nintendo characters they can do. We already have a Pokemon movie, so we got a Pikachu 3D model.
Okay, fine. That's not the direction I thought that joke was gonna go in. Okay. Let's see.
I mean, we have a Lego movie.
And that actually ended up being phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's another that's what I didn't see coming. All right, so I guess my number one uh, film that I'm looking forward to for 2021 is Dune. This was supposed to come out in October. It's
Hmm.
based on the classic Frank Herbert novel. It's a science fiction novel book icon, and it follows a young Duke as he must follow, or as, excuse me, as he must fight for the salvation for himself, his lineage, and the planet he's been given responsibility for. The biggest thing that stands out to me, again, obviously they released a trailer and it looks immaculate. It looks absolutely, it looks epic. I have not finished the book yet. I'm still about halfway through. But the biggest thing that
Yeah.
stood out to me about this upcoming film is the director, Denis Villeneuve. He did Blade Runner 2049, knocked it out of the park. He did Arrival, knocked it out of the park. He did Sicario, knocked it out of the park. He's obviously a very, very talented filmmaker. I've been intrigued by him for a while. And then on top of that, you have a stacked cast,
Oh yeah,
stacked.
very sad cast.
Timothy Chalamet, Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson. I can go on, and Dave Batista, on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations for this film are extremely high. This movie looks like it has everything it needs for it to be amazing, and whether or not it's actually executed that way, I guess remains to be seen for almost another year. Thank you,
Yeah.
COVID. And my like I said, my expectations are just extremely high. I hope the execution matches the hype. I hope it earns the hype because again, this movie really does look amazing based on what we've been given so far.
Oh yeah, definitely a movie I want to see in theaters and preferably in IMAX. So
Yes, I'm
just have
sprinting
to see it.
October. I'm sprinting to watch it in IMAX. No amount of COVID is gonna be able to stop me from doing that.
It's like I'll get it. If I get it, I get it. At least I
It's
saw it
like
in the
it's like
IMAX. That's all I care
it's
about.
like if I get it, I get it. That's
Yep, exactly.
what I like to say.
So, I mean, I wasn't really going for like 5-1 because my most anticipated is really Zack Snyder Justice League. But
Mhm.
if I had to state one more film that I'm really excited for, it would be. Oh man, that's tough because I'm looking at my list. So probably most likely Black Widow mixed with Dune and Free Guy, but mainly Black Widow and Free Guy.
Forgot about Black Widow.
Because Black Widow highly anticipated. I've been wanting this movie from since last year after the delay. It reminds me of Winter Soldier, which that's probably one of my favorite MCU movies still, even after Endgame and everything like that. So seeing Black Widow and the action and the cast and everything like that has me thoroughly excited about it. But I'm also excited for Free Guy because it's Ryan Reynolds. There's literally like a video game, and he's a PC. It's what I want in like a video game movie. If you're going to embody something like a GTA in a sense, and I love it. So
I think
those are
our
what.
boy Taika Waititi is also supposed to be in Free Guy too, right? Isn't he the
Oh
villain
yeah,
or
Taika
something?
Waititi's in it. He's
Love him.
from the footage I've
Good job.
seen in the trailers. He's hilarious. So I'm excited, and I just want to name off a couple of my films that I am excited for, but like honorable mentions, and that would be Suicide Squad, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Cherry. So, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more, but just to keep it short.
I got I got the recommendation on YouTube to watch a Cherry trailer. I have no idea what it is, so I
I
saw
don't.
Tom Holland's face,
Yeah,
and I guess I'll have to check it out. All right, so before we get on to our review of Pieces of a Woman, don't forget to give this video a like if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell to get all notifications for more content. Don't forget to follow us on the podcasting platforms that we're on. We're currently on Apple and Spotify, and we're looking to get onto more platforms soon. And also, we have our social media pages. They should all be outlined in the description below. And again, if there's anything else in 2021 that you guys are looking forward to, all you guys that are listening, give us a shout out in the comment section. Speak your mind. Type your mind in the comment section below. If I
let it be known to us. We want to know. We definitely won't
exactly,
hunt you down if you don't tell us.
that's enough. All right. So Netflix's new movie, Pieces of a Woman. It was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like honestly, like if I was on Netflix and I was just trying to pick up something I would watch, I would not watch Piece of Woman because it didn't intrigue me. So because you mentioned, it, I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I don't know, I don't really know how I feel about it. Like the thing,
Before we get too into it, just for anyone who doesn't know, the film follows a wife and a husband as they struggle with their grief following the death of their baby during birth at the hands of a midwife. Obviously, some great family comedy stuff. So you said, Darius, that you're not like sure exactly how you feel about it.
yeah, I knew what they were going for. It's definitely not the type of movie I would watch or want to watch. Um,
Hmm.
but again, I think Shia LaBeouf was great. Like his performance after, especially seeing it after Transformers, like way back then, and seeing him now, he's definitely improved. He's definitely changed.
He's
Um,
absolutely he's
and
terrific.
Vanessa Kirby, I thought was great. Like again, the cast, the acting was on point. It's just it wasn't the type of movie I would watch. Like I was within an hour in, and I kept, how you kept looking at your phone in Midnight Sky. I kept doing the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. Like the movie, I will say the movie is a bit slow, and unfortunately, and I'm not gonna say it's too unfortunate because it's good overall, but unfortunately, it does peak in the beginning with that opening birth sequence. Like that is absolutely incredible. Like what they did with that, the fact that like it was so intense and so intimate. Like the rest of the movie is fairly intimate as well with what they show, But that sequence in particular, with what they do, how it's filmed, like most of that, I'm thinking about this. I'm like, is this all in one shot? Is this all in one? Is this all in one
Yeah,
shot? Like
it looks like it
it
was a
looked,
one shot, but
yeah, it was
the
pretty
thing with one
seamless.
shots, however, in films and I think in television is that if you really do it well, or even take after take, you can stitch it together so it doesn't seem like it's
Mhm.
entirely a one shot. But and anyway, like that entire first sequence, I somewhat enjoyed until I noticed how long I was into the film. So I was like, okay, this is excruciating. Like, I knew exactly what they were doing. We wanted to see the birth. We wanted to see her struggle with this birth. And then the revelation of what happens afterwards. I understood that. It was just for me, I couldn't take it.
It's a lot. It's a lot to. It's a lot to take in for sure. And again, like this maybe this is me. I like it when a movie messes with me emotionally. I can't say. Actually, no. I can say that it took me there. But like most of the time, I was like, "Wow, they're going there. They're pulling this off. Oh my god, I can't believe they're wow." So again, that was for that first sequence. Again, the rest of the movie after that, like when they're basically coming to terms with everything that happened in the months after, it's not as good. It's not bad. It definitely feels a bit slow at times, but there are certain emotional peaks that really do sting. And I think there's one. Um, there are a couple scenes, of course, with Vanessa Kirby where she really stands out. But there's another one with Ellen Burstyn, who's also in the movie. I'm not sure how old she is. I know she's up there, but she's still got it. She's
Oh,
still
yeah.
got it.
And I think I know what scene you're talking about, too, because that was a great scene.
There's a scene with her and Vanessa Kirby's character, and she stung, man. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
I know
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
she's still got it. So this movie, I want to say, it was a little bit over 2 hours. I don't know if it's quite worth that
Two
amount of
hours and
time.
20 minutes.
It was 20. I thought it was like 2.6 or something like that. Either way, it was over 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours, and I'm not sure if it. I feel like it could have possibly been shorter. It could have possibly been shorter, but again, this is a very heavy portrait of grief and like how they're basically how their lives like almost fall apart from each other,
Yeah.
and it's tough to watch at certain points. I'm not gonna lie, but I think it was worth it. I think if you're in a little too good of a mood, if you're just a little bit in too good of a mood, then I think this movie will equalize you just a bit. But I think there are times where people wonder like oh, why do I want to watch like sad movies or whatnot? Why do I want to watch like this heavy stuff? And and everyone's different, but at least for me, I think that it's important to, I guess, feel those sort of things. Like life
No,
isn't
yeah,
just
for
like
sure,
happy hunky
definitely.
dory all the time. You need something to equalize you every now and then, as long as it's satisfying. Like the movie's heavy, but it feels satisfying in a way too.
No, yeah, like for me, when I was watching it, just because again, like it's not that it was long or slow. It's just that there wasn't enough for me to want to keep watching all the time, and I just felt
Hmm.
that it was at certain moments it was dragging out, and like in general, I just felt bored. I just felt
Yeah.
bored, and there were certain parts where I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe something's about to happen," and then it doesn't happen. And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
why'd you do that to me?" And it's not that I don't like you playing with my head. That's fine, but it was just a bit of the music and a bit of the tonality just didn't grab me in as much as I thought it would. In the beginning, it did. One shotter, we're seeing the birth, everything like that. Awesome. Everything else after that just felt to me certain pieces were amazing, from the acting perspective and everything like that. Like the scene with her, Vanessa Kirby, and, her mommy essentially. That was probably one of my favorite, if not standout scenes, because I just thought that was so powerful and pivotal
Hmm.
in what's to come after, especially in the end. But yeah, like in general, for me, it's definitely not the movie I would have gone to a theater or anything like that to see. Or if I was just scrolling on Netflix, I definitely wouldn't choose it. But I'm happy I did to see just a different directing style, different visual style, everything like that. And again, there are moments I did like, but not to me. It just didn't feel whole as it should have.
Yeah. Like, and I had an odd feeling that you weren't gonna like this one, but but I figured like
Like the
let's
thing is,
try
it's like
something
it's not like I
a little
didn't like
different.
it.
I'm not sure.
Like the thing is, it's not that I didn't like it. It was just that it didn't grab me in for the emotional impact I thought for a movie dealing with grief and losing what she lost in the beginning. It just didn't hook me in enough
Hmm.
because I felt that they skimmed over certain segments of her character that were just like, okay, wait, when did this happen, or why, or how? And sometimes the time skips that you see in the text also drew me completely out because it's just like, okay, this is getting a bit out of hand. Like the fact that you had to put this, like I understood why you want to show a length of time of her going through this stuff, but I
Hmm.
still think that some of the stuff maybe in between that we could have seen that actually did heavily impact her and Shia LaBeouf's character could have still been implemented for me to hook me in a bit more. Again, that's just me personally. So,
Yeah.
because I'm
So
definitely not saying it's a bad movie. No, I'm
yeah,
just
no, it's
saying,
definitely far from a bad movie.
yeah, it's
I can
definitely not.
definitely see it not being for everybody. If I went to the theater to see it, I'm not sure how I would have reacted. If I'm being honest, because
Same.
I watched the comfort of my home, with our Netflix subscription, so I didn't really have to sacrifice too much, just a couple of hours. But I can't say I'm disappointed that I watched it. There were definitely things about this movie that really stood out to me. Performances across the board are really terrific. Like I said, it's very intimate, and it's interesting to see like how the two different characters, the husband and the wife, handle the grief. Um, you know, and even from like I said, from a cinematography point of view too, how seamless these one shot scenes feel. That stood out to me, and I didn't think it
Yeah.
would work. It did. I didn't. It never felt gimmicky because it had a very fluid feeling to it all. So all
Yeah,
in
and
all,
one of the
props.
things, yeah, and one of the things I will admire about this film as well, especially as someone who is trying to write more and write more stories and scripts and everything like that, is I like the fact that almost every single emotion and every single emotional change that was implemented in the film was shown and not told.
Yeah.
Almost every single one, and I read that and really enjoyed. One of the scenes that also stood out was really her in the beginning looking at clothes and the little girl. It's like, not a single line of dialogue, but you just knew what was happening,
Yep.
and I liked that. And even throughout the film, you still got a sense of that. In the end, in that court scene, oh, I love that scene and everything
That
that it
was great.
represented. So well good, so well made. Everything was shown, and I like that. And when they were saying stuff, the tonality is what supported it and made it even more impactful. So again, definitely not a bad movie, definitely not for me, but there are the smaller moments kind of made up for the whole of how I felt about it because I was bored, but those small moments, those intimate scenes, I was like, yo, that is, oh my god, that's excellent, you know. So
Yeah. So yeah, good stuff overall. Um, yeah, we're keeping it short today. I
yeah,
guess a little
keeping it
breather
short.
from the last couple of weeks. For anyone who's listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all notifications for more content if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to check us out on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Check out our social media pages. That should all be in the description below. And
I
yeah,
do want to mention another show I'm excited for that's coming out this year, and that's called Invincible. It's from the creators of The Boys, and let's just say if you like The Boys, you'll probably like this. It is an animated show, and it basically revolves around this young person discovering his powers, but it's not going to go the way you think of him trying to be a hero.
got it.
And it's interesting because, and I mean, and this is going to be a mature show where it's like, and typically in animated shows and everything like that, it's always geared towards kids. But this one, no, this is geared towards young adults. It's geared towards us adults. Like there's gonna be cursing, there's gonna be gore, there's gonna be blood, all that type of stuff. So I highly recommend to check out the trailer to that because and it's based off a comic too. So that intrigues me a lot. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, like I said, good stuff all around. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Joe Acierno,
I'm Darius Delsoin.
and this has been Cinema Unchained.